Awesome. So I I want to share some possible ways, but there's no wrong way to do automatic writing. It's just the intention to pull forward messages like we've all shared. We've all got a little bit of taste of that in our life, probably maybe a lot of it. And also can be looked at as channeling, like you're channeling message from your own higher consciousness, from you can intend that a guide speaks through you, your automatic writing. Essentially, the traditional automatic writing is done with your eyes closed, but it doesn't necessarily mean if your eyes are open, you're not, doing that. And it just feels like it's flowing. And so you can do it with a pen, you can do light language, your automatic writing at a level may come from spoken word, like Maurice talked about with poetry and, rhyme coming out. There's no wrong turn. So ultimately, we want to get in a relaxed state, and thankfully, this place is pretty relaxing. So that's good. We will do a little bit of exercises, several exercises of deep breathing and dialing into that communication for our strong intention, and then we're just going to practice and play. And it is good that if you have a focus that something you're wanting to know about. However, sometimes you're writing a whole channeled book and you just want to see what's going to come out. So again, you could have an intention, you could not. You could go through the process with no intention, and midway you want to start asking more questions and get very deliberate on what you're asking for. And that's the beauty of it. It's super fun and it's super creative. But I will have us definitely try doing the closed eyes version, because in the closing of your eyes, you're not like, you're taking a part of the brain out, you're taking your focus away, and it may look like chicken scratch, but when we pull back and you look at it and you decipher it, you're going to use your intuition, if it is chicken scratch, to figure out what it is you wrote. Maybe you're going to surf the words, maybe you're going to be also hearing it while things are coming out, and maybe it won't, maybe it'll be beautiful writing and you can clearly see what you wrote. And then from the closing eyes version, and then we'll just shift to like with our eyes open type of practice. I also brought out a typewriter here that I've been so wanting to use. It almost went to Goodwill several times, but I was like adamant there was a reason, and I feel like it's for tonight as one of the reasons. So when we're done and we're kind of closing down the center, I would love for each of us to stop at the typewriter and just kind of play around and see what comes out. And maybe we'll actually do it. Hopefully we'll all be here so we can see what gets written. If not, maybe I'll take a photo of it and send it. So that is also something that maybe you did. I think you wrote your book on a laptop.
Actually, I did. I wrote it from a computer, and it was actually in a time where I was real vulnerable and needed answers, but I couldn't think, couldn't hear the answers. So when I went to the computer and asked the question, and I just removed myself from myself, and next thing you know, I would hear, and it would start typing. So yeah, the computer was a lot easier for me than writing.
So that might be something to play with. I know that's how I am as well, as the computer. When I wrote my books, it was just being able to get there and listen, and it could easily come out. So I'm excited for the writing piece to come in, because I'm a chicken scratch writer, so I prefer. Another way is that, your artwork, it may not be in words. It may be that you actually do somewhat of, your creativity, not so much in the writing, but are an artist. Do we have artists in the room? People who paint or draw? So my point is that even if you're not, and you find that you're being guided to draw something, just, roll with that. That maybe tonight there's also going to be some imagery or a symbol or light language type of script. So that's something that's going to possibly come forward. Do any of you feel like you can easily, just a show of hands, easily hear your own consciousness talk to you when you ask questions? Okay, so one not so much. You hear? Yeah, I remember that. Okay. And do you ever feel like there's something other than your consciousness communicating? Do you ever feel like you're channeling some other entity or guide? Show of hands. Okay. And do you know your guide very well that you have channeled? Yeah. Can we just have anybody wants?
Very well.
Well, what
Like
if something
recognize
recognize
that it's something
if it
different?
comes to you right now, I just feel like that might come through, and so I'm guided for us to actually hear those guides that may be in the room tonight.
Mine is Black Hawk.
Black Hawk.
Native American.
Okay, very cool.
I will sometimes ask who it is, if it's my angel or my mom or
It could be anybody.
yeah, because sometimes I'll get answers and sometimes it's nothing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 that tend to come through in different ways. So one I haven't heard from recently, so I'm wondering if he got replaced with the new one that came in.
Oh wow.
So,
Does it have he have a name?
I was calling the previous one Reggie because his name is Aztec and I can't pronounce it. So it was just. But then the new one is Native American, and that's the one a couple weeks ago I told you he's like, call me Eddie. So
Okay.
the new one's Eddie.
Eddie.
But then the other one is my dragon, which her name is Astrid.
Hmm.
So.
Very cool. A dragon. Awesome.
I don't know, over the years I guess channeled or done writing for a variety of different beings. You know, I know Archangel Michael has, and then like I said, the spirit guides of the client, and then I'm sure my own spirit guide team. Sometimes I will connect with someone's higher self and get a message. So it's just a variety of beings, I would say, not like one particular.
Got it.
thing.
Cool.
My great-grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Young, my fondest memories is with them is sleeping in the middle of them with, as pretty much an infant, them tucking me in, taking my socks off, putting my pajamas on. It's like, can't do nothing without y'all right here. So it's like, they're locked in,
You can easily communicate with
yin and
them.
my yang,
Yeah, I can
so,
see them strongly when you
yeah,
started talking.
so
That makes
it's like
sense.
certain things they tell me, don't go to sleep with your socks on. Till this day, I do not sleep with my socks on.
Oh. Awesome. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, baby.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hi. So we're talking about automatic writing.
Okay.
Do you automatic write so far?
I think I did more when I was a child, and I've been seeing signs actually, like everywhere I've been. Like when I went home to Louisiana, I went to this seminar, and it was everything that was already in me, and it was like, remember to write everything down, right? It's just been a common theme. So I was like, oh yeah, I got to show up today. So yeah, I think I move around so much. I have to get still to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm working on. So that's why I showed up. So that's a weak point, and I need to strengthen it and work on it. So yes.
I'm glad you brought that up. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have someone specifically?
Mine's like a group consciousness, and they're called the Nine.
I've heard of this before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm glad Chris brought up that there's a weak point. So that's something that's really awesome to do with automatic writing, is that if you have questions, if you have questions about something of a weak point, or you want to know about things that maybe you're not fully conscious of, that's deep. Mainly what we're tapping into is our subconscious and things that we're not conscious of, that we want to also put forth to these questions when we get to the question portion. So being open to, writing things that you're wanting to actually overcome, or blocks, or things that feel like you're just like clouded about, this is the perfect time to do automatic writing. Which is also why they highly suggest that you do it with your eyes closed, because you're really going to put yourself out of the way. So we are going to get started with some practices. So everybody should have a pen next to your chair. I'm just going to guide us before we actually start writing into some breathing and a little bit of visualization. But I do want you to know where your pen and paper is, because we'll do that first exercise with the eyes closed. So I'll kind of guide you, okay, stay with your eyes closed, and we'll, allow for that process to come through. And then I'll guide us to open our eyes and give us a little bit of prompting, but then it's really going to be up to you to allow for that deep inquiry of maybe you have some questions that you want to know. So before we actually drop in, go ahead and journal a couple questions that you already know you are going to want to possibly deep dive some automatic writing answers into. And if you don't have anything yet, you're just really going to go with what comes up, perfect. But so that you're not having to think about that, we can a little bit dial into what are some questions that you're going to be asking for some clarity. Otherwise, like I said, once you've got your questions and you've dialed into that, know where your pad is so that you can stay within for the first exercise after we do some deep breathing and I kind of guide us into a relaxed state. And so we'll start with just taking some deep breaths and let your breath be audible on the exhale. Let yourself hear your own exhale. Let yourself, on those exhales, let go of anything that you know you carried in from today. Just let it dematerialize on the exhale. Let it turn back to the light, back to particle, and then back to a wave. And then as you deepen your breath, hearing that exhale, I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath all the way down into your toes, into your feet. And as you exhale, let the feet actually wiggle a little bit, shaking off anything. Even if the ankles rotate, just letting go, relaxing all the way up on the next breath from the ankle to the knee. The patella, the top of the kneecap, just relaxes to the side. And your next breath from the knee to the hip joint, just allow for like a sail on a sailboat, just the muscles on your thigh to relax. And from your hips to the mid area of your thorax, your torso, just from all those abdominal muscles, the spinal muscles, front to back, they just let go. Let your belly relax. And from your sternum, the lungs, the heart, all those breast tissue muscles, the back muscles to the shoulders, to the back of the neck, all relaxes on the exhale. From the shoulders down to the elbow, let your fingertips wiggle as your awareness gets there. And then from the neck and the head to the top of the head, let the next inhale bring light into this relaxed vessel. The light that you are fills up from head to midsection, arms, and legs. The illuminated, relaxed body prepares for this exercise by just simply holding space for the soul, the spirit that you be, to communicate from a very high place, very deep place. And as that happens, go ahead, if you feel that you're going to be working with guides or any others that you're going to look for answers, invite them into the room to hold space around you. not necessarily needing to get into your vessel, just to hold space around you and be present. As you invite them, see if you can acknowledge their presence, being aware of some sort of symbol or visual that they are indeed there. Letting them hold space, knowing that there's many here tonight holding space for us. Coming back to the inner awareness. Again, soft, easy inhale, slowed down. Inhaling and exhaling slowly. As this slowed down breath occurs, just allow yourself to smile. Allow the smile to expand your awareness now beyond the body into the space, acknowledging the field of energy that's holding us in this experience. We're asking that this field of love light remembered hold us the highest messages, the highest level of clarity, so that we may have so much of what may have been a mystery come clear tonight, for the highest and best good of all. Slowing the breath. Becoming aware of your pen lightly or pencil and your paper. With the eyes closed, go ahead and work with any internal communication if you are being guided to communicate or ask a question, and allow for whatever rolls through as you automatic write words, symbols, and even allow the picture. Let go and trust. For those of you who are just allowing your consciousness to speak to you beyond a question, allow the movement. Let your breath be soft. Staying relaxed, even if you need to slightly open your eyes so that you can turn the page. Allow it to flow like surfing a wave, surfing anything you're hearing as well. Once you feel that that channeled message is complete with eyes closed, go ahead and trust your own process. If you feel that closing the eyes keeps you in the state that is needed, stay there. For those of you who feel open to open the eyes, keep going with the process. The questions to your consciousness, allowing it to flow. Stay with your consciousness at this part of the exercise unless you're strongly pulled to allow the guide to come through. If you are still in process with your own communication to your consciousness, keep going. For those of you who feel prompted now to invite a new level of channeling, a guide that you've already invited in, or if there's something else coming through, communicate and ask who it is. And if you feel aligned to that, keep going. If you find yourself at any sort of pause, just come back to your deep breathing and allow yourself to come back into receptivity. Remembering there's always the question of, what else do I need to know? If you feel a natural pause come over from what you've been communicating to, like your own consciousness or a guide, come back to that question again of, is there someone else who needs to communicate through this automatic writing? When you come to a healthy pause, also remember to take deep breaths and imagine you're rising into higher light. And then as we rise into higher light together, again, ask for your highest and best messages about why you're here. And coming into a final question, whether you know that question or you want to possibly use one of, what is one last thing that you need to know about this now? Possibly something that you're going to need to do. Dial into that final question. as you come into that final answer, complete your session with some sort of symbol drawing, something that is beyond words. And as we come into complete, I want you to just take some time now to look over what you wrote. As you look over it, do your best to read it back to yourself and highlight or underline anything that seems really important, anything that seems like it repeated itself, anything that stands out. And remembering you're always still in this state, this possibility, this ability to do this. So if it feels like there's something that you really want additional clarity on, then do just a few more lines to get any additional clarity. And then work with the question of, am I complete? If you're not complete, let yourself know that you're going to do more of this later. And if you are complete, awesome. Either way, as you are coming to completion, we're going to give thanks to all the help, to the light that's held here, to your guides and guardians who hold space, for your super intelligence, always available, for you are. Breathing into our legs, our toes. If you feel like you want to sit up just a little bit, do so. If you're good right where you're at, I would love for us to come into any sort of sharing that would feel helpful.
question was, do I always need my unseen energies to assist me in writing? And the reply was, no, dear one. You have mastered how to allow your mind to remove ego thoughts, and you bring forth your own higher wisdom. We will only assist when you are in a frazzled state of energies. We shall assist in calming the mind belt. Due to your nature being in the air matrix, you become disconnected from self. You want me to keep reading?
Sure.
Trust in the flow in your moments and know you are held in the energy of love. You create riddles in order to dive deep into the puzzle of self-awareness. Above all, laugh at it all because you truly are a master. You are here, dear one, to remember your true imprint, which is joy. Surrender, allow, and flow. Look at your cyclic patterns and redirect some onto a different path.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Thank you. But that we came here kind of on like borrowed time, or like pushing. We pushed to be here. Yeah. So I'm going to dial more into that. But ultimately, phenomenal. I mean, we really didn't go that deep, that long, you know? So you can see how much we can do this more often. And that was a request too. Please do this more often. Like, it's a request for myself. Maybe you guys got the same message. And it feels really powerful, though, for a lot of us to also dial into more symbols because of that, since we really do, we come from, you know, if you look on the walls of like, you know, Egyptian pyramids or things like that, we used pictures, you know, for words, and we used symbols. And so to really be open to that sort of opening space for you to do some, you know, art or just drawing symbols, and then getting clear cognitive answers, like what does that mean, you know, and trusting that. So this was great. So keep going tonight. You know, if you felt like you're like on a roll, like definitely keep going with more questions. Yeah, so let's just, if you don't mind, excuse me, put your hands on your thymus gland and take a few open mouth breath. And then smile as that breath opens up more of oxygen and flow. And see your best now moment. See the joy of the presence. That the highest version everythingness actually resides here right now. So just see how amazing this moment is. That you're here, you're present, that you're vibrating, that the light that you are actually can just do so many amazing things. Just a little bit of focus. The clarity all comes pouring in. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Enjoy this evening.
Next Wednesday we have our Ascended Master Study group.
Yes.
And we'll be studying Jesus.
Master Jesus will be here.
If you want to come and bring any information or experiences to talk about, and
When is that?
next Wednesday.
Same time, 6 to 7 next
Friday,
Wednesday.
we have what's our Friday one?
Friday Soul School.
Friday's Soul School at 1, and we're doing tracing the meridians and doing more of the light body. So we're going to learn our meridians and then trace them because it will activate your light body at another level.
Does everyone know
Are
what
you thinking
meridians
going
are?
tomorrow?
Meridians are your energy pathways from your organs out your fingers and toes. And tomorrow is Thursday, so we have our first Thursday. Tomorrow is 6 to 7, a quantum leap guided meditation. You lay back for the hour in the chairs. We have all the way back. We have the plasma running in the space, and sound bath, and I do a guided tour as you lay back to quantum leap into whatever you're going to jump into.
Okay, and when is that one?
Tomorrow night, first
Oh.
Thursday,
Okay.
6 to
Is
7.
that donation?
Yep. And then Friday, like I said, we have the Soul School at 1, and then that evening kicks off our 3-day retreat. And you don't have to stay the night if you don't want to. The only spaces we have left of sleeping, though, is in zero gravity chairs, which is not only, I mean, it's pretty cool. Otherwise, you can just come for the retreat and go home and sleep and then come back.
Do you have a website with all these events?
Yes, r3miracles.com.
Okay.
And we have a brochure out front.
Okay.
Yes.
The Soul School, I know that's every Friday, but do you have to come every Friday?
No.
Okay, because I have a reoccurring appointment